Welcome to the Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering this week and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Westwood, and I'm here with magazine editor David Mark. And David, the California Senate primary is already getting crowded on the Democratic side. Congresswoman Barbara Lee was the latest to enter the race this week. Where do you think she fits in that primary field?
Yeah, this is a race that is almost certainly going to stay Democratic. It's a seat that it's deeply blue, but there's a whole bunch of Democrats running. In addition to Congresswoman Barbara Lee, there's Congressman Adam Schiff, who's well known from some of the impeachment hearings. Katie Porter, Congresswoman from Southern California, who's got a lot of press coverage. Lee is kind of on the outer ends of the left fringes of the Democratic Party, but in California, Berkeley, and Oakland, where she comes from, she probably has a lot of pull. There's a lot of people who know her from over the years. She was the only member of Congress to vote against the war authorization after 9/11, and she seemed like a real outlier at the time. But there are now folks on the fringes of both parties, kind of on the pacifist left and isolationist right, who say, yeah, maybe she was onto something out there.
Given that, as you mentioned, that seat is very likely to stay in Democratic hands, is it worth it for any serious Republican candidate to get into that race? Could that potentially be a springboard to some other statewide race in the future?
Yeah, that's been tried by other candidates.
Carly Fiorina.
Yeah, exactly. In California, it's really hard to make a name for yourself because you're just going to be overwhelmed by money, whoever the nominee is. About the only way Republicans could conceivably win that race would actually be to have two viable Republican candidates in there, because the primary is all parties, and then have so many Democrats run that none of them can get into the top two position. The chances of that happening are pretty small mathematically, but not impossible.
It's an interesting scenario. Speaking of crowded primaries, Vivek Ramaswamy entered the race, the 2024 GOP presidential primary, which is already sort of well underway. For people who might not know, who is he and where do you think he fits in this field?
Yeah, he's a 37-year-old multimillionaire investor, biotech and other realms. Has been very successful financially, very prosperous. He's really made a name for himself, at least among cable TV watchers, in the last couple of years as a critic of wokeness. He's written a book on it, saying that too many companies base their investment strategies on environmental and other social factors. It's an interesting theory. I'm not that sure that's enough to win an actual major party primary, but he's got to figure, if for whatever reasons Donald Trump and, say, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis do not emerge as the nominee, which is not likely, but it's possible, somebody's got to win. So even if he doesn't get the nomination, he's probably setting himself up for Treasury Secretary, Commerce Secretary, something like that. He's got a long way to go.
Well, David, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
You can get more reporting from David and the rest of the political team at washingtonexaminer.com.